power. American people just don't want me just standing around. No, actually, I kind of do want you standing around, Mr. President, or pacing, back and forth in a 6x8 cell. That's where I'd like to see you standing around in a prison cell. That's never going to happen. But history will record, if it's recorded accurately, that's where you should have been. Hawaii braces for double storms. Chris Christie trails Clinton in New Jersey. Wow, surprise there. Snowden makes first public appearance. Secretly visits Moscow's Bolshoi Theater. Here's one of the headlines that I was gonna do. Story I was gonna do. Biden calls calls Africa a nation. That's CNS News right here. Our old buddy Joe Biden was giving a speech. Vice President Joe Biden has made yet another flub. During his speech at the United States-Africa Summit yesterday, Vice President Biden referred to Africa as a nation. Africa, of course, is a 57-country continent. In reference to Africa joining the status of the most lucrative nations in the world, Vice President Biden stated that there is no reason that Africa cannot and should not join the ranks of the world's most prosperous nations in the near term and in decades ahead. Yeah, Africa has their own little Islamo-Nazi problem. And they'll never, I repeat, never join the status of the most lucrative nations in the world as long as they have an Islamo-Nazi problem. Because the Islamo-Nazis will take all the concrete and the steel that the moronic world, people like us who donate and fund and aid and comfort, they'll take all the concrete and steel you send them for building schools and hospitals, and they'll build tunnels so they can, kill and maim Jews. And most of the African countries are, most of them are corrupt. All the aid goes right into the government officials' pockets. None of it reaches the people. We're so stupid for sending them a dime. It's our way of buying them off and not getting them to sign up with Russia or the Chi-Coms. I mean, I get it. But it's ridiculous. Anyhow, here's old... Here's JoJo, which, by the way, last week we found out that he likes the skinny dip. And some of the female IRS, some of the female Secret Service agents, didn't much care for Garden JoJo because he gets up every day and goes skinny dipping. And, eye trauma, that's traumatic to the eyes. Anyhow, here's JoJo.
Africa's governance and institutions can put its people in a position commensurate with their possibilities. The sky is the limit. I mean, it is limitless. There's no reason the nation of Africa cannot and should not join the ranks of the world's most prosperous nations in the near term, in the decades ahead.
Well, actually, Joe,
no reason.
Actually, Joe, there is a reason. There is no nation named Africa. So there's no reason the nation of Africa, blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, actually, there is a reason, because there is no nation named Africa, you moron. Africa's a continent that has 57 countries. Now I get it. Hey, it's pretty minor infraction, pretty small mistake. Easy slip up. I could see. Maybe you've done it before. Maybe you don't even realize that there is no nation named Africa. I knew it. But more luck than sense. There's a lot more that I don't know than what I do. But, this isn't me. It's not you. This is the vice president, the second in command of the most powerful nation on earth. How do you get to be vice president and not know there is no nation named Africa? That's just one of his gaffes, but I thought I'd share that with you. Come on, JoJo. Give it up, buddy. You're never going to be president. A, you're never going to be president. B, hey, you should have bowed out the last go around, but no, hey, I get it. Best thing you can do in a couple years is go find you some lib like George Soros will pay you millions of dollars to run around giving speeches about income inequality. That's what I'd do if I were you. It seems to worked out well for Hillary. Just saying. Moving on. Here's a story that caught my eye. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday we had another green on blue attack, what they call a green on blue attack in Afghanistan, where Afghan soldiers that we have trained and outfitted and geared and funded and trained. Every now and then one of them just gets up from his desk and pulls out his pistol or a rifle and just starts killing Americans. After he's been serving as an Afghan soldier for a year or two. These people are animals. They really are. Truth be told, we'd probably be better off if we nuked the whole damn place. Better yet, put them all sleepy night-night with something that wouldn't hurt the environment. Because I'm an environment. You know how much I love the environment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying. I know it's a little over the top. I don't really mean that. The people are animals. Hamas, they're animals. The jihadis are animals. And the only way to get rid of a rabid animal is to put a bullet in its head and put it down. It's the humane thing to do. Anyhow, shout out to the Daily Caller. Story by Alex Pappas. President Barack Obama has yet to say anything publicly about the death of Major General Harold Green, the first American general killed in war since Vietnam. What's that been? 50 years? Green is believed to have died Tuesday after a man in an Afghanistan military uniform shot Green and 14 others in an attack near Kabul. Since his death, U.S. public figures have spoken publicly about the attack. I'm deeply saddened by the cold-blooded killing of an American hero today, Senate Majority Harry Reid leader said. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. General Green was a good man, a great leader, and a mentor to me and all who knew him, said former Senator Scott Brown, who knew Green. His death is a reminder that conditions remain very tenuous in Afghanistan Oh, the tenuous isn't even close. The day we pull out will be the day the terrorists take it back over, just like they did in Iraq. That's Obama's plan. Going to get us out of them wars. What he really meant, he was going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. That's what he should have said. It's sad. On Tuesday, White House press secretary joshingly earnestly discussed the attack, saying that thoughts and prayers of those of us here in the White House are with the family of the general and are with the soldiers and the family of those who were injured in this attack. But it's pretty hard to take, anything joshingly earnestly says serious. He's just another Obama, crony. But Obama himself has still not commented on the attack. Citing national security source Jake Tapper reported Wednesday that the administration does not like to signal that the particular rank of a casualty merits a different response. Every loss of life is equally tragic. Every sacrifice is equally heartbreaking, which is typical of liberals, ladies and gentlemen. But they take it one step further. The death of a terrorist is just as sad as the death of an American soldier. Every life is equal in value. Every loss of life is equally tragic. Every sacrifice is equally heartbreaking. And there are lots of dead on both sides. Oh, that's how they are. It doesn't surprise me at all. What kind of president, ladies and gentlemen, says something like that? What kind of president, the first general killed in action in 40 years? 44 years? Depends on whether you're talking about the end of Vietnam or the middle of Vietnam or the beginning of Vietnam. Vietnam went on for 10 years, so, 40, 50 years. The first general killed in action in 40, 50 years. Citing a national security source on Wednesday, Jake Tapper said that the administration, they don't like to signal that a particular rank of a casualty merits a different response. Every loss of life is equally tragic. Who talks like that? Who are these people? What kind of a president says he don't want to talk about the killing of a general because, every life is equally tragic. Well, if that's what you believe, then you should be talking about every life then, shouldn't you? Every private, every corporal, every sergeant, every lieutenant, every major. If I were president, ladies and gentlemen, I'd never get out of the Oval Office if it were a time of war. I would feel personally responsible and personally obligated to write a letter to every soldier's mom and dad, every soldier's wife and kids. I'd work 16 hours a day if I had to, writing a letter to every family of a fallen soldier, and they'd try and tell me, look, you got to do something else. Hey. And I might agree then to, say, okay, I'll handpick some people to write the letters and I will personally sign them. No stamps. I will personally sign the letters. I can't imagine a president who thinks like this. I mean, I say that. I can't imagine an American president. I could imagine, a commie president.